It means a lot, man, because we never did this before. There's a lot of seniors who have never achieved this goal, and it feels pretty good.
It's mid-November in the northern Minnesota town of Pelican Rapids, and like any day without snow on the ground, boys of all ages have gathered at Thompson Field to engage in their favorite sport. This small town of 2,500 people has the honor of housing the Pelican Rapids Vikings, and the school lays claim to being the smallest traditional public school in Minnesota to have its very own soccer program, a program that began in 2016. Prior to the team's inception in 2016, Viking players traveled 30 minutes each day after school to play for the private Christian school, Hillcrest Lutheran Academy. The cooperative partnership earned multiple conference championships, and in 2006, the team earned a trip to the state tournament. However, in June of 2015, after a decade together, the Hillcrest Board of Directors notified Pelican Rapids that the current agreement would end. Hillcrest would continue to allow Pelican players to participate, but in an effort to better market and brand their own school, the team would no longer carry a game day name recognizing the Vikings as partners. Pelican Rapids Athletic Director Derek Nelson felt that the timing was right for his school to break away and begin a new chapter in the school's own sports history. And just a month after Hillcrest's communication, the Pelican Rapids School Board approved a boys soccer program to start in 2016. Nelson saw unlimited potential in the new program and immediately set out to pursue money to begin renovation at David Brown Field, the city's main soccer pitch. He also hired a complete unknown to the sport of soccer. John Peter, known to most as JP, was hired to be the head coach of the new team. Peter, an ardent Viking alumni, is the English as a second language teacher at the high school, so to some in the community he seemed like a natural fit, but to many others, Nelson's choosing of Peter raised some eyebrows. Although an alumni, when you look at the annals of Pelican Rapids sports, you will not find Peter playing soccer. In fact, he had never kicked a ball in his life. JP made his sports name first as a runner in the late 90s and early 2000s, and then he returned as a coach, having built successful girls track and boys and girls cross-country programs. Nelson liked that Peter had a vision for the program's future. Even before he accepted the job, he had laid out thorough 5- and 10-year plans of how, if hired, he would develop the boys program into a championship team. He would start a nonprofit to help develop the summer youth program into a feeder system, generating future players as well as a future girls team. Moreover, there was his desire to work with community members to leverage soccer to create better student engagement in the classroom and better parent engagement with the school system. But having vision and executing a plan are two completely different things. To say that the start of the program was a bit rocky would be an understatement. It was evident in year one that both the players and the new coach were out of their depth. Add a catastrophic injury to the squad's captain mid-season, and the young team would only manage 3 victories. Although year two wasn't much better, a seismic shift in tactics and style of play were evident. It was clear that JP and his players had gone to school in learning the game and trying to bend the narratives of games in their favor. Year 3 recycled the same idea, with the Vikings now finding 8 victories but an early exit from the playoffs. A new narrative seemed to be developing for the Vikings in year 4 as the team stormed to an undefeated start through the midway point of the season. But a heavy mid-season loss in Bemidji foreshadowed a potential playoff collapse. And despite the team improving to 10 victories on the season, they were stunned in the playoffs when the Alexandria Cardinals beat them 3-2. The loss was a fork in the road for the young team. Continue to play as they had or find the adjustments needed to cause a tipping point for change within the team. 6 seniors were graduating, and another starter was due to transfer to a school in Minneapolis. To the team, it felt like starting over. Starting the day after the playoff loss to Alexandria, Peter went to work with a manic drive, studying every text he had and trying to write his team's way out of their playoff failures. Through the winter, he wrote a new curriculum of play for the players, followed that with a companion guide for the coaching staff on how to teach the curriculum, and then he created a video library to supplement the learning of everyone. But JP was not the only one hard at work. The Viking players played the game relentlessly in any format they could find. But within all this drive, something much larger was looming in the path of the season.
The deaths from the novel coronavirus in the province rose to over 1,000 on Tuesday morning.
El virus que causa COVID-19 se propaga principalmente cuando una persona infectada está en contacto cercano o cercana con otra persona.
talyaaniga lockdown talyaanigu waxaa la hoos geeyay wadarta xirnaanshaha maadaama coronavirus uu faafay dalka oo
La NBA anunció el miércoles por la noche que suspenderá su temporada después de que un jugador de Utah Jazz dio positivo por COVID-19.
yokada waa xudunta cudurka coronavirus ee ka dilaacay Mareykanka. A Central Park ee dekedda
Minnesota State High School League canceled the remainder of Winter Sports State Championships today.
In late January, the world was put on notice with the news of the novel coronavirus coming out of the city of Wuhan in China.
Governor Tim Walz here. My first responsibility as your governor of the state of Minnesota is the safety and security of the citizens. I know these past several weeks have been the most disruptive and stressful that many of us have seen. So what our objective is now is to buy time so that the resources of the ICU and the hospitals and the things that we're going to talk about today can be stood up to address that. We're going to limit movement outside the homes beyond essential needs. We're going to continue with the closure of bars and restaurants and other public accommodations, and we're authorizing the Commissioner of Education to implement our distant learning plan that is ready to start.
As COVID-19 spread across the globe, the subsequent lockdown meant there would be no youth sports activities, and all hopes of an upcoming season seemed to be lost.
Soccer has been allowed to begin on time for the 17th, with the season shortened by 20%, with the games cut down by 30%. Only 1 to 2 games are allotted.
With the shocking news of a season came hope that would carry the team through the most unexpected year.
This year with all the COVID things going on, the soccer gave like something just to look forward to, and like everybody was at home bored doing nothing, and it brought everybody together in the community.
What we accomplished this year with everything that happened was actually crazy.
This is the story of the 2020 soccer season in Pelican Rapids. It is a story of successes and failures, of brokenness and redemption, self-reckoning and coming of age. It is a story of unshakable courage and how the identity of a single town drew a group of diverse people together. This is We Are From Pelican. After nearly 6 months with very little activity, the players have finally emerged in mid-August and practices have officially begun. There is tremendous excitement that some normalcy can resume within the pandemic.
I thought we were not gonna have like soccer season this year, so I was like, it's gonna be like the boringest year ever, like the worst year ever, like. And then when I heard that we're starting like soccer season, like I was like so happy.
I was actually pretty surprised because when March came and we went to full distance learning, and like that kind of just all hit us. It's kind of scary. Just everybody was inside all the time, quarantining.
As I kept going, like we thought like it was gonna be quick. Like by summer it's gonna be all good. We'll be going outside. But when we reached summer, it was like boring. Like stuck at home.
I mean, we were just lucky, and I'm happy that we just got a season.
I couldn't stay home anymore. Like another month or in a whole year, I can't. Like, it's boring. You can't stuck home. You can't stay home for that long.
They really couldn't go outside and do anything and exercise, so we just stay indoors, eat, and I'm pretty sure everybody just played video games.
This summer we didn't get to play like every day or like games that would get us our like stamina up, get us fit, and most of us would play like Sunday League too, and that would like be a big part of it too.
It was kind of hard to go outside, mostly when the soccer field was closed, and every time you would go, the cops would come and tell us to leave.
Because most of like the guidelines, they didn't like us playing soccer with each other.
Every time we played, the cops came by and told us to stop playing, or like to spread out.
We just stayed at home. Guess we all ate too much.
Yeah, there was bigger guys. I'll even admit myself, like, I was a little bit bigger than normal.
Like the first day of practice, you know, everyone just there with big bellies and everyone's just out of shape. And I remember doing the yo-yo test, and people were just like done after like the 4th, 5th, you know, goal.
Yeah, it was pretty strange practicing in the pandemic, you know, wearing the mask. Sometimes you forget to bring it to practice, you know. JP was kind of strict about it. And as practice went on, we got used to it, you know. Anyway, we just went with it, and I wasn't really scared of playing in the COVID. I was just, as long as you keep your mask on and stuff, you know, and practice social distancing, I thought it would be cool.
The Vikings have just 8 practice sessions before their first game of the season, where they will travel to Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, and face off against their Highway 59 rival. While the warm-ups from a year ago remain familiar to the players, there is a new face on staff. With the departure last year of assistant coach Jory Coronado, Andy Johnson has been hired to take over as the coach of the junior varsity developmental squad. While Johnson and Peter look a bit similar, they are identical in another unique way. Like JP on his first day at practice 5 years ago, Johnson has also never played or coached soccer until today.
Very quickly after I got hired, JP and I had a conversation, and right away I could tell that he was so prepared that I was going to be okay coming in, having not had any soccer experience since I was about 7 years old. The book that JP gave me, that was emailed to me, and as I opened it up and I saw the Google Docs page roll and roll and roll, and it got over 10, and it got over 20, it got over 30, and it was over 40 pages long. And right away I was like, holy smokes, yeah, this is a little intimidating of like, I don't know this sport, here's 40 pages and I want you to learn this before the season starts. And at first intimidating, and I was reading through and I was like, no, this makes a lot of sense. This is presented in a way that even I, who haven't played this game in 20 years, can understand. And I've never had practice plans that were so detailed or so laid out days ahead of time. Having those and looking at those ahead of time and looking at the drills and what we were trying to do that day and comparing that with the book, the team Bible, it just made everything so much easier than I thought it could be, and shows the kind of program we have here in Pelican.
In week 1, along with a new coach on staff, there is a decidedly different feel to practice.
Don't let him turn now. Don't let him turn. Good. That's good.
In 2018, the Vikings finished as the 3rd highest scoring team in the state with 70 goals. Last season, the Vikings were again in the top 10, finishing 7th with 60 goals. However, this season, the first days of practice are dominated by an intense focus on defending.
A lot of teams probably don't see us as a defensive team. So, I mean, just working on it really helps us become a better team.
This year's main thing was defense, you know. Defense is your best offense, you know. So if you're good at defense, you will eventually win every game. Like, offense is like 50-50.
Our goal cannot be to play just regular old football. We just pray to God that we score more goals than the other team. Defense has to be a focus.
Defense this year was a lot different because, I mean, We pursued it a lot more than we have in other years.
Yeah, I remember the second day of practice, you know, having to do those sprint backs, you know, go recover the ball, or like, you know, the swarm back, and then
Swarming, every time we'd lose the ball, we'd make sure to go get her back right away, and it taught us how to really defend really well.
Swarming, everybody just comes back like as fast as you can.
Swarming, like the whole team swarms back when we lose the ball. And nobody likes to do it because like you're up there, you were just running for an attack, like you're tired and you gotta swarm back right away, come back to defense as hard as you can.
It's not fun, you know. You lose the ball, just everybody just sprint back, you know.
One of the biggest changes for the players this year, aside from many new concepts, is how they are being taught those concepts.
So JP would send us, you know, film before every practice. He wrote a book about it, and you know, those were his plans on, you know, tactics.
Every night after a practice, he would send us like a video, like what was gonna be taught tomorrow for practice, and then we would have to watch the video and like learn it.
So JP sent us a video of like leads of doing like a team pressing. It was like a team counter-attacking them, and then like just everyone from like mostly 10 people from the field going from the top to the field to like their own goal. Just everyone just going to the guy with the ball. And we wanted to make our own like video of that too.
JP's mental demands of the players are pushed to their limits, learning new systems and tactics, but it is their physical limits that are also being pushed in week 1 with a new game.
murder ball is like the hardest game I think I've played as far as the scrimmage.
Murder ball, it sucks, not gonna lie.
Yeah, murder ball, I hate it. Like, I don't like it at all.
I hated that game. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it.
The first time I heard about murder ball, I'm like, what is that?
25-minute, pretty hard, deadly.
Murder ball is like where we keep a fast-paced game. There's no throw-ins, there's no corners.
Yeah, the coach is just there and like screaming at you if you stop.
Right away when a ball's thrown out, there's ball boys on the sides that are gonna throw in a ball right away.
The ball never goes out, you know. If you're playing an 80-minute game, I think that's way better than the murder ball.
Murder ball really helps you like get a feel for like a real fast-paced varsity game.
So when you're performing on the field, it'd be easier for 80 minutes for you to run around.
Well, the murder ball is much harder, you know, like in the actual game, you know, you kind of rest in between the corners and throw-ins while murder ball, you don't even rest, you know. The ball is gonna be at your feet faster than it would at a game.
A grinding work ethic is no surprise to anyone living in the community. Pelican Rapids is a town of 2,500 people in north-central Minnesota, less than an hour's drive from Fargo, North Dakota. But within a ubiquitous sea of towns defined by Scandinavian heritage and situated in the heart of Lakes Country, this blue-collar community is a unique island unto itself for this sole reason. Pelican Rapids' population is almost 50% non-white.
Pelican Rapids is a very diverse community, and it came to focus because of our main employer here in Pelican Rapids, West Central Turkeys, who is also the largest employer in Otter Tail County.
On the north end of Pelican Rapids is the driving force of the community's economy, the massive West Central Turkeys processing plant, employer of over 700 people. This factory is the starting point to understanding the uniqueness of this small, working-class town.
And those were jobs that you could do without English skills and without a background in industry at all. They were jobs that they could teach people to do with very little English, very little skills.
The first of the families that came to Pelican Rapids was in the early 90s. The Paris family, the Diaz family, and the Martinez family, a lot of them came to Pelican Rapids by mistake. They used to do a lot of beet farm picking in North Dakota, and just by mistake they stumbled on Pelican Rapids.
And when the plant started running year-round, they started staying.
My dad himself was one of the first was one of the first folks that made the trip up here in the early 90s, and he loved the town so much that he told a lot of the friends that had come up that season that the next time he would set foot in Pelican Rapids was going to be with his entire family. Fast forward 7 years to 97, that's when we made the trip up.
These workers, a lot of these workers that were temporary here came here on a permanent basis and decided to move here. They bought houses here, raised their families here, their children went to school here.
And I think it's just pretty much the word of mouth. You know, one family came, they're like, hey, there's work here. And other people started to come, hey, you know, there's work in a turkey plant. Obviously everybody almost works there. And
porque aquí se vive mejor, mucho mejor, económicamente. Y aquí para comprarte un carro, un mes de trabajo lo puedes comprar. Y allá en México necesitas años para comprarte un carro. O a lo mejor no lo puedes comprar. Depende del trabajo que tengas. Ese es el motivo por el que estamos aquí en Estados Unidos.
Work was available, work was safe. It was less backbreaking than working in the fields in California.
Bueno, pues por una razón de que la gente que venimos de allá, venimos con un propósito de vivir una vida mejor aquí en Estados Unidos porque nuestro pueblo, Uriangato y Moroleón, pero las familias que venimos de allá venimos con ese propósito de vivir una vida mejor.
yeah, about maybe 90% of the from the Mexican side, I think they're from Guanajuato, yeah.
The most interesting part of it is that a lot of the community in Pelican Rapids are actually neighbors, cousins, family members that used to live together in Mexico in those small towns of La Presa, in Cupuato, or in Uriangato. So everyone knows everyone.
Like Uriangato, I mean, it's a big town. It would be like in Moroleón, it's like Fargo Moorhead, you know, maybe a little bigger or, you know, around the same size. But then there's different smaller towns, like say, you know, Dilworth, you know, smaller different towns. So everybody's not, they're from the same, you know, from Guanajuato, but they're just from different towns around the area.
But as the families from Mexico began to migrate north to Pelican Rapids for a chance at a better life, families from a different part of the world were being torn apart by civil war. The local branch of Lutheran Social Services began receiving placements of Somali refugees in Pelican Rapids.
The United States makes the decision on how many refugees they're going to accept every year. And there are programs through the United States government that interview refugees in the different countries that they live in and find places for them in the United States. The man who was in charge of Lutheran Social Services refugee resettlement for this part of Minnesota felt that the refugees did better in small towns. And so he liked to settle them in Pelican Rapids.
We came over here as a refugee man seeking help and a better life than we had in our country, Somalia, since civil war exploded over there in 1991.
I came here in the United States as a refugee. I landed in Columbus, Ohio back in 2006. So when the school was closed, I came to visit my sister here in Pelican Rapids, just to visit, and I liked it, so I didn't go back to my mom, so I stayed with my sister.
One family comes over here, as you know, we communicate a lot, and so one family comes over here, and then the other family move into maybe let's say Charlotte, North Carolina, and then we call them and they say, hey, after they complain at us, say, hey, I'm living in a big city, Charlotte, a lot of gangs, a lot of problem, and then we'll say, hey, we live in a small town called Pelican Rapids, and it's a safe over here, good community, good people, and it's much better for the kids because there's not a lot of problems going on.
There was another form of communication for many refugee families that pointed them to Pelican Rapids.
Diane Kim was the manager for the site in Pelican Rapids, the Lutheran Social Services Refugee Resource Site. And she asked somebody, she said, why did you decide to come to Pelican Rapids? How did you know to come to Pelican Rapids? And they said, there's words written on the tents in refugee camps saying Pelican Rapids, Minnesota is a good place to live. Pelican Rapids gained a reputation in certain parts of the refugee community as a place where you could be safe, where you could find a good place to live.
And everyone is friendly. So it's better than big town there that comes with a lot of problems. Here everybody knows almost everybody else. So it's very friendly. That makes a lot of difference if you're new here.
Because my dad was in California before he brought us here. But he said, then he came here and he tried Pelican. He's like, I think it's better to raise a family here, that it's nice and calm, than in a bigger city where, you know, more trouble, bigger city, more trouble. If we went to school and got off the bus, and even if he wasn't at home, he knew nothing was gonna happen. If once, you know, you get off the bus, everybody's, you know, calm. No, there's no trouble around here, so.
With nearly 40 years of demographic change, the business landscape has slowly evolved as first and second generation individuals and families have taken the American dream to the next level, and businesses have sprung up throughout the town, such as the Mariposa Market. Pelican Rapids High School graduates have opened restaurants, Taqueria Escobar and Taqueria Chavez. Ivan Franco and his brother Efren bought out longtime auto body stalwart Pete Hart upon his retirement, and they now run Pelican Pete's Auto Body.
Mainly it's collision, but yeah, if they do need something, help with something because of language barrier, if they can't go somewhere else, we will do it. But we usually, if it's mechanical, we'll send them to a mechanic. If it's upholstery or if it's, we don't want to take away from other businesses, we send them back. But if they really need it, then we'll do it.
Fix this, repaint the whole side. And then on the front end, we gotta fix some suspension parts.
People from, say, Dent, Barnesville, Earhart, Elizabeth, even Fergus, come and bring our cars here because they know what we do. And yeah, we've been surprised, we've been overwhelmed with all the work that we've got.
Another business dealing with transportation across town is run by Viking alumni Abdi Rashid Dual.
I graduated and I started working as part-time radiology. And I knew people wanted, a lot of people didn't have, there was no buses in Pelican, or some of them don't drive, so it was hard for them to get to their medical appointments. So I opened my own company just to do non-emergency medical transportation, and I started hiring drivers, and we started like 2 drivers and now we're like 8 drivers. The part-time job in Sanford was really good because it was in Pelican and it was a good place to work. So I enjoy working with the people in Sanford, and it was in my town, so it was hard to leave, but I had to choose, building my company or staying working. So we have like 3 vans for disabled, for wheelchair vans, and we have another 5 vans for regular people. Well, majority of people that we haul, they're not Somalis. So because usually we go to the nursing homes, we take people from the nursing homes. We have contracts with different insurances, so every time we get fax or call from the insurance, we accept, and whatever we can fit in our schedule, we do.
And next door to Abdi Rashid's business is the Somali hub of Pelican Rapids, Dawo Halal Market.
People come here to have some food. Also, we got a lot of different culture, food. Also, we sell tea, coffee. So it's anyway community shop.
It's keeping us together, and we have all our cultural foods over here, and being together, and we're coming over here drinking coffee together and watching the TVs.
Halal is always like meat, like which is allowed Muslims to have, like, or to eat forever. So it's much important.
In the middle of all this diverse landscape, for nearly half the town, perhaps the most exhilarating thing here is still one singular idea.
Soccer it's a big deal, Kids, growing up when I was a kid, in Somalia, I wake up I play soccer until school starts at 8 or 9. We came back, we play soccer until like we can't see anything else, it's too dark.
For us growing up in Mexico really was a sense of your life.
Growing up in Somalia, man, like I told you, I haven't seen no basketball hoops over there. Soccer is the only sport that I've seen it growing up in Somalia, and it's popular.
You know, we played in the street, grabbed the ball, put 2 cones, and we just played in the street. Our car passed by, we had to stop.
For us in Pelican Rapids, it was the thing that brought us together. It was the thing that showed who we were.
Soccer is, I think, one thing that can bring people together.
One player whose personality and family history personify the blue-collar spirit of the community is Oscar Pedroza, better known by everyone on the team as Lico. From day one, it is clear who leads the squad, and there is little question as to whether or not Coach Peter will select Pedroza to receive the first-choice captain's armband.
Vocally-wise, I don't think we've had a captain like him, where, you know, he yell at guys and it's told what to do and, like, you know, mark up and in corners and set pieces, you know. I feel like he was towards vocal-wise, I don't think we have had a captain like that before.
I kind of did know I was going to be the captain just because, like, I showed it, like, last season as a sophomore, you know, just being loud.
When we played Moorhead, we stayed with them man-to-man for the majority of the first half. It should have been 2-2, but unfortunately we were down 2-0 at the half. And our guys were pretty defeated in terms of moral support. You could see they had their head down as we were going into the shed to talk about strategy during halftime. Coach Peter and Coach Joey and myself were kind of walking, and we were just drenched because it was a cold, rainy day. And all of a sudden we hear somebody screaming their head off, and Coach Peter peeks in and sees Lico losing his head on his team to try to understand why everyone was down, why the heck we weren't playing like we play. And we all looked at each other and we knew there and then that we had found our captain.
You got to just keep everybody up. You got to keep everybody's chins up no matter if you're losing or winning a game. You just got to help everybody get better, coach everybody. You're just like the second coach on the field.
The way he interacts with other people and the way he communicates with them is off the chart. The thing about soccer is you need to communicate with your team. And if you don't have a good person that can communicate, you guys are not going to do very well.
The reason he became so good is not because he's just Mexican. He just practiced the game a lot. I used to see him at the soccer field practicing with Seabass and his other Seabass most of the times.
While his leadership has shone brightly and his work ethic has been the pinnacle of the team, his career has been marred by injuries. During his freshman year, Pedroza suffered a concussion in the second game of the season and never was able to get out of the protocols that would allow him to return to the field. Last season, a strange landing on wet turf in Moorhead resulted in a sprained MCL knee ligament and left Lico trying to play in the playoff game as a shell of himself.
From sitting in the sideline like 2 previous years in a row, you obviously want to get out there and just work with everybody and just have fun. And I really did miss that those 2 seasons, which really did suck.
This year, Lico looks like a new player, fully healthy and full of drive to lead the team. And while Lico's role looks locked in place, a pairing of players in a different part of the team's formation has also caught everyone's eye. Abdi Isse and Daniel Urbano are both looking to bounce back from disappointment in the previous year.
What happened last year was me and a couple of friends were playing outside. It was about 9 o'clock.
We would just keep playing, and then I got the ball. I was running at the goalie, and he was behind me. So he came and like sprinted in front of me, and then I tried to like do a skill or get past him. And then as he just moved along, his forehead hit me, his 2 teeth hit me right there. His whole teeth came out, and yeah.
It was bad. I think they had him there for an hour or something, just doing the little surgery, something like that. Yeah, it was painful for him, obviously, and it was scary.
They said if you play soccer that year, you would have been in a bad situation. I was so sad that I didn't play soccer the whole season and mad.
While Abdi's loss of last season was due to an accident out of his control, Daniel Urbano's disappointment was a bit more self-inflicted.
So last year, I started. I had some good minutes. Moving on the season, my minutes started decreasing, and then eventually I quit. And well, I didn't know what to do at the moment, so I just quit. So that first meeting, I was wondering what JP would say, because of last year me quitting, and then this year me joining back. JP was honest in that meeting. He told me that he messed up and I messed up both ways, and that next time there's a problem that he'll come talk to me about it.
With a new start before them, the pair is vying for the Vikings starting striker position. For those not familiar with soccer, the striker plays at the top of the team's formation and is typically one of the primary goal scorers on a team. The head coach believes the new role will play to Daniel and Abdi's strengths. There's a catch. Neither player has ever played striker on the varsity team.
I was surprised. I've never played the striker role. And well, it's different.
How I would score goals was by waiting for garbage and just being lucky and getting to the ball. But when JP told me that, I thought it was crazy because as a striker, you're supposed to be scoring all the goals. But later in games, I found out that it was better as to play as a team.
It's more of pressing and holding up the ball.
As a striker, having the ball to press and pressure the other team was good.
Pressing is you go at the defender as hard as you can, 100%, and you try to take the ball away.
Him and Abdi up at striker, they were just a good combo, just switching back and forth.
In the soccer field, we still had a good relationship. It was just different because we both played the same roles. It was more competition, and
that really made me work hard, and I wanted to play more minutes. So then I wanted to play more, work harder than him, and prove that I am the #1 striker in the team.
As the team prepares for a trip to Detroit Lakes to play the season opener, there are unclear expectations both publicly and within the team. The perception about what the team can accomplish is that this is a rebuilding year. There are 8 starters from last year's team that are not with the squad, so many that it is difficult for the current players to keep track of who left.
So it was Alan, Trix,
and my brother Yaya,
Axel, Kirby, and Alan.
And Aguero, a friend of mine, moved to Minneapolis.
Abdi Khalif.
Aguero, Axel, Kirby.
So it was Jaime, Axel, Aguero, Trix, Alan, and Yaya.
And then Jaime, yeah, I was out because of COVID.
Just going into the first game, I honestly thought we were just still a good team, but you know, not having all 8 starters from the past year, having a lot of new faces on the field was just different.
I thought coming in, previous years, DL was a good team, it was gonna be a hard game.
I knew we were gonna do good because I saw everybody's energy in the bus, the way they were focused, the way they were talking and communicating to each other. And then when we got to the field, the magic started to happen.
After Lico and the rest of the team have moved through their warm-ups, lineups are announced, and Abdi has earned the starting striker job over Daniel.
Find your spot. Back up a little more.
There is a clear difference from previous Viking teams in the opening minutes. The defense is suffocating. In the opening 20 minutes, the Lakers are only allowed to complete passes across the midfield stripe 6 times. And leading the way in this pressure, Abdi Isse, Daniel Urbano, and the ever-present voice of Liko Pedroza.
Hey, you guys have to go to the sideline. You guys have to be at the sideline. Use the whole field.
Here's a chance for Urbano. Urbano right in front of net and a goal. Pelican Rapids, a beautiful assist there by Urbano.
Nice job, Danny. Nice job, Danny.
Just after the Jesus Moreno goal in the 21st minute, Liko gives the ball away. The team gets their desired video of the Viking swarm.
Step at the ball. Nice, Daniel. Go, Daniel. Go, Daniel.
Moments later, Urbano's pressuring results in another Laker mistake and a corner for the Vikings.
1-0 our score. We've played 25 minutes here. Shot on net and a goal. Pelican Rapids gets their second of the game. After the corner kick, it was then a pass to Oscar Pedroza.
A competition between Isse and Urbano to prove who is the team's best striker ratchets up each time JP rotates the 2 players, with the players not wasting a second of their time on the field, turning up the pressure on the Lakers as they go.
Now back with it. Pelican Rapids shot on net and a goal! That one just slides by Wimmer. That was Abdi Isse with the goal.
Okay. Promise, just like every other game, these first 5 minutes of the second half are going to be huge. Okay? They're going to be huge. Okay? What did we say the goal for how our body is at the end of this game? Shattered. You fall asleep on the bus. Do not get lazy. We're not perfect in the first half. Let's go, boys. Same way we started.
Just 30 seconds into the second half, a lapse in concentration by the Vikings provides the Lakers with a near miss. And the game suddenly feels like the momentum could swing heavily back in the Lakers' favor.
Now you got it, Mark. Come on, White. Come on, White. Let's go. Corner of the 18. Corner of the 18. Who's got far boost? Drop back. Ian, pull in the middle.
Here's an opportunity here for Pelican Rapids. Back the other way. Here's a shot towards the net and a goal. Pelican Rapids right after the corner kick by the Lakers.
All night, the team executes what they have so diligently worked on for the last 2 weeks in practice. The Lakers are held to 1 shot on goal for the entire match.
Talking with Coach John Peter of Pelican Rapids, his biggest worry was just the conditioning of his team. Were they going to be in shape for this first game? And honestly, they have looked very strong here tonight.
In the closing moments, Daniel Urbano, one of the Vikings' catalysts for their defensive pressure, wants to make sure that there is still a question as to whether he or Isse will be the starting striker. At the final whistle, the score is 7-0, and just 8 days into the season, and the Vikings seem to have already hit full speed, looking poised to dominate the Lakes to Prairie Conference.
everybody just executed their jobs. I mean, we all just played super good as a team. I mean, that's really what won us the game, just being a team. And at the end of the game, it showed it with all the pictures and everything. We were all just hugging each other still, and it was fun.
After that game, really, like there was a thought in our head that we knew we were going to be a good team this year, and we knew we were going to make it to the section final.
But the path before this team is not the straightforward route anyone is expecting. A long, twisting, and unexpected journey stands before the team, and what is about to play out is just as unthinkable as everything the year 2020 has already thrown at this squad.
Did we waste our time all week? Okay, then do it! Act like a championship team!
As Pelican Rapids goes to its first ever Section 8A boys soccer final.